Hi, welcome back to the channel. This is Have Roots Will Travel. My name is Lisa Elvin Staltari, and I'm a genealogist and a passionate traveler. Over the last several years, I've been focusing my attention on les filles du roi and also on les filles à marier, which is what we're doing today in today's episode. Les filles à marier, otherwise known as the marriageable girls, came before les filles du roi, and it is a series that I began in 2023, and I have to say it's very, very popular and reaches a lot of descendants because of the fact that they came so early. So it's really a treat to be able to explore these early pioneers. Now, with that being said, before we begin, let me show you ways that you can support the channel. You can support it by subscribing, which is free and helps that YouTube land. And then we have the like, which helps in that algorithm thing, spread the word, if you will. And also the notify so you don't miss any episode that you're waiting for. Other ways that you can support the channel, which are a little bit bigger, if you will, are joining up and becoming a member. You can become a member at the 99 cent a month level or at the $24.99 level. There are levels in between as well. I think it's $4.99 and $9.99. Different levels have different perks. But we've recently begun that with YouTube, and it's been quite successful as it is. I'm moving away from Patreon and going to exclusively, eventually, only have the YouTube memberships because they offer a better value. And also, you can go on my channel, as on my website, Have Roots Will Travel, and donate there. And there's also always that super thanks for individual videos that people like to do as well. So with that being said, let's get started and get to know our filles à marier of this episode. Today's episode will feature Les Filles à Marier, episode 109, Mathurine Poisson. Yes, the sister of Barbe, who we met in episode 108. So Mathurine was born in 1631 in Mortagne, Aubuchon, France. Her parents were Jacques Poisson and Barbe Brousse. You can see that she is from the Normandy region of France. And inside of the Normandy region, we have the department or county of Aude. And this is where so many of the French-Canadian pioneers came from. In fact, her father, Jean Poisson, and Barbe, her mom, actually came to New France early on, and Jean, her father, was the valet of Samuel de Champlain. So you can see their connection to New France was established very, very early on. You can see how beautiful this particular region of France is today by the bottom left. And the picture here is of their church, the Saint-Jean-Paroisse. And so obviously, she knew about New France. Her father would not establish himself for long in New France. He would return to his place in Normandy, but his children would follow his footsteps. So in 1647, Mathurine and her sister Barbe and her brother Jean, with his family, would sail to New France to establish their own pioneer stake in the new lands. The groom that she would soon connect with, his name Jacques Aubuchon, and he was born in 1617 in the parish of Saint-Remy in Dieppe and also in Normandy. You can see, however, that the department or county that he is from the one up from she's from Orne, he's from Seine-Maritime. Now, his parents were Jean Aubuchon and Catherine Le Marchand. The church where he probably was baptized was built after 1522, replacing one that was from the 13th century. Dieppe is a city right on the sea, with its beginnings in 1030, where it was a true jewel in the crown of both France and England, with its very strategic locations. Many famous explorers and cartographers came from this area. It is renowned for seafood, notably scallops. Throughout the Protestant wars of the Middle Ages, many Protestants, known as Huguenots, left from Dieppe to escape persecution and make new lives in the Americas. So Jacques came approximately the same time as Mathurine, but maybe a little earlier. He came in 1646 and he was a master carpenter. They lost no time in getting married. They were married October 8th, 1647 at Quebec City. They would become pioneers at Trois-Rivières, which was actually only the second settlement of New France. So we're looking at 1647. It was only established in 1634, so it was barely a decade old. And it was named Trois-Rivières because the St. Maurice River has three channels that form at the mouth of the St. Lawrence River. Trois-Rivières is French for three rivers. It was known as Three Rivers in the English community for many, many years, but eventually as time wore on, we would begin, even the English would call it Trois-Rivières, which is a sign of respect, rather than call it Three Rivers. There is actually a Three Rivers in America, so we want to be sure not to confuse it. However, there is something that you might want to know, that there was an important battle later on in the American Revolution, the Battle of Three Rivers, where it was called that. And some of you may have ancestors in this area at this time and who may have fought on the side of the Americans. So check that out in your tree. They would eventually settle at Cap de la Madeleine, which is a little further down or up from Trois-Rivières. It was founded on March 20th, 1651. This establishment was named by Jacques de la Ferté, who was the abbot of Sainte-Madeleine de Châteaudun in France. The city is famous for its basilica, which of course it wasn't a basilica at the beginning, but it's a Basilica Notre-Dame du Cap, dedicated to Our Lady of the Cape. The basilica receives thousands of pilgrims and visitors every year. During the 18th century, there was some miracles, and this has led to this incredible reputation that it has, where so many people go to establish their pilgrimage, if you will. I love this picture of the Cap de la Madeleine because in my mind, this is what it would have looked like even back in the 1600s. I mean, the shoreline is the shoreline, and this is where they would form their family. Let us have a look at the family they would create. Their firstborn, Jean, would pass away at age 6. Marie-Anne would marry François Chorin and have an astonishing 19 children, 16 of whom would survive, 11 who would leave descendants. René would pass away at 35, leaving no descendants. Jacques would marry Catherine Gertrude Jérémie and would have one child who did survive, but his daughter entered the convent, so no descendants have come from his line. We have Ignace, who would die before the 1666 census. We have Joseph, who married Marie-Louise Dandonneau and would have 9 children, 6 of whom would leave descendants. François married Anne-Céleste Dizy and had one child who did not survive. He subsequently became an engagé West in 1694. And on Nicolas, I have no other information. Mathurine would pass away before the 1666 census. This is one of the few times that I do not have a census for one of my filles du roi or filles à marier. She and Jacques would have been married a little less than 20 years, and she would be less than 40 years of age. But she would leave us an astonishing 132 descendants as of 1729. And the story will continue on episode 212. And I put for a fille du roi, he marries a fille du roi, Marguerite Ita, and I will link the previously recorded episode for the story to continue. One of the best ways to get to know your ancestor is to find a biography. And our French-Canadian Ancestors is a series of books. I think there are about 28 of them, volumes. They're very challenging to find. If you have it, great. If not, you can always either look through at your library or go on Facebook. Our Free French-Canadian Ancestors actually is there. If you join up, you will be able to access the files they have. Particularly with Jacques Aubuchon. He is listed in the volume 4 in chapter 3, and I've posted the links to that Facebook group if that's something you'd like to pursue. So we end the Poisson family. The two girls, really, we have Barbe, which we looked at last month, and now we look at her sister Mathurine, and just amazing women, just amazing stories. The fact that they came so early on, and Mathurine, even though she left us so early, she left us with 132 descendants, and Jacques was able to carry on with the next lady. And those of you who are related can absolutely have a look at that Fille du Roi episode that I featured with Jacques as well. So it's an amazing story of an extraordinary family that came and was, really at the very beginnings of Quebec. Certainly their father was there as well early on with Samuel Champlain. So really and truly a privilege to be able to tell this story. And I want to thank Mathurine for her bravery, for her courage, for her ability to come to New France and make a life. And even though her life was cut short, we are so grateful that she came in and gave of herself. Because without her, many of her descendants obviously wouldn't be here. So thank you, Mathurine. We bless your memory, and we are ever so grateful. And I am so grateful to my patrons and supporters. Thank you for always being there for me. I really, really am so touched. Each and every one of you has helped me become a better genealogist and a better YouTuber. So thank you ever so much. And with that being said, I'll see you on the next episode of Les Filles Mariées. Until then, au revoir.